Hola, Taboo Breakers. Bienvenidos a Taboo Talk Latina Edition. Yo soy Cynthia.
And I'm Jeanette. And here at Taboo Talks, we keep it real, raw, and rooted in our cultura. This is a space where we shed the silent, speak on the truth our abuelas were told to hide, and celebrate the stories that make us powerful mujeres.
We break cycles, honoring our voice and amplifying the mujeres changing the game. Lo que nadie quiere decir, we say it here with heart, laughter, and healing.
Today's guest is a voice you've definitely heard and a presence you can't ignore. She's bold, brilliant, and building space for Latina stories to be heard loud and clear.
We're honored to welcome Honey, a powerhouse voice at iHeartRadio, currently on New York's legendary Power 105.1, the host of Gracias Come Again podcast under iHeart's My Cultura network, where she amplifies Latina and Latin voices and speaks on the issues that matter most to nuestra cultura.
Beyond the mic, Hani is a news correspondent, certified life coach, and speaker who's passionate about empowering women of color, stroke survivors, and the disability community. She works closely with the American Heart Association to raise awareness around heart health and stroke prevention, and she does it all with authenticity and grit.
Welcome to Taboo Talk Latina Edition. We are so honored to have you here today.
I'm going to need that intro. I'm going to need that intro on video so I can play it everywhere I go. I'm not walking into live play my Taboo Talks intro.
You deserve it because, wow, while we were putting this together, I'm like, what a powerhouse.
I like that word. That's a good one. We use it a lot here at Power 105.1. That's actually our annual concert. It's called Powerhouse.
Ooh,
That's
I love
beautiful. And it's strong.
It is.
And before we jump into topics, we'd love to open the floor to you. For those who may not know the full story, from surviving a stroke at a young age, coming close to death, and rising into the powerhouse you are today, tell us who is Honey behind the highlights and the airwaves.
We're going to get deep so fast, Jeanette. Come on.
it.
You gotta let me settle in. Ni me beben un chin de agua que tengo aquí. You know, I'm a Latina from New York City, born and raised, immigrant parents, a hard worker, a hustler, a survivor, everything that has to do with making it in America, that's what I am. I currently work at Power 105.1 here in New York City, #1 hip-hop radio station in the nation. I love it. I work as the digital director. I'm also a radio personality there. But what I'm most passionate about right now is life coaching. So like, as you mentioned, I suffered a stroke, it was a severe stroke. Almost took me out. Had to have brain surgery, had to learn how to walk again. It was bad. But I decided, you know what? Nah, we're going to make it back. We're going to get it all back double, okay? I said, we're not going to stay laid up. What's going on? I'm not 80 years old. I'm like, I am young. So I decided to pivot into life coaching. I don't want to say pivot because I still have all my other jobs. Because, typical Latina fashion, the more money, the better, right?
Yeah.
So listen, I work 7 days a week, whatever it is. If there's money on the table, guess who's going to get it? Me.
That's right.
But, life coaching is really my passion now because I encounter so many people that are facing, life challenges, but they're not that deep and they're not that big. I'm like, girl, we can get you through this divorce. Girl, we can get you out of that job you hate. We can handle those issues that you're having with your family. And I use myself as an example. I'm like, listen, if I learned how to walk again, you can get a new job. We're going to make this happen. And it's all about, it's all about relatability, and people want to be coached and guided by people who have gone through things. We don't want just someone who's, lived a perfect cushy life telling us, do this and do that. No. I've been in the trenches, okay? From, growing up in Manhattan and New York City, in drug-infested neighborhoods, to dealing with immigrant parents that at times experience poverty and had to go on welfare. I've been through it all. If anybody's going to help you overcome and understand your struggle, it's going to be me. And that's the main reason why I do. The life coaching is, a passion project. And sometimes I do it, I don't even get paid.
I was going to say, it probably comes so natural for you.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can
I love it. And don't get me wrong. I love talking on the radio. I love doing commercials. Like, I just did a bunch of State Farm commercials before we got on, because when I look good, I feel good. And then my commercials come out much better.
Yeah.
So I was ready like 2 hours before I met with you guys, because that's just the person I am. If I'm on time, I'm late.
My dad used to tell me that. Wow, yes. My
And that's
dad used
powerful.
to tell me that all the time.
There you
And
go.
I grew up like that. And then when I met my husband, he is late to everything. And that was like a big struggle in our relationship, because I'm like, the party says 4. Like he's like, yeah, we're leaving at 4. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, no. Wow, I love it. And do you think it's the New York in you that kind of built that hustle in you? Because, like you said, you had to learn how to walk again, and you decided to be like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn how to rewalk again and survive this. So, do you think that has something to do with like the New York attitude in you?
Definitely because, that's the way I grew up. It was just like, yo, you're going to get up, you're going to make it happen. Even walking to school in snow when you're like 6 years old, you know what I'm saying? It's just like snow knee deep and you're like, go, go, go. So, yeah, definitely influenced a lot. But I think I just knew I had a lot to accomplish still. And, I felt like, what's good? I felt like I was at the height of my career when it happened. And I remember when I was in the hospital, I was like, oh my God, I was doing so good. I was making so much money. And you know what's crazy, Cynthia and Jeanette, that God doubled it for me.
Oof.
That's who he is.
He
Isn't
said,
that?
don't you worry. Don't you worry. The best is yet to come. Sometimes, we think back and we're like, oh my God, I remember this year was amazing. And every day I wake up and I'm like, wow, my life just keeps getting better and better. And that's what I always thought about. I was like, nah, I'm not done here. There's a lot yet to accomplish. There's a lot of people that I can touch now because without a great test, there cannot be a great testimony. Remember that.
That's
Yes.
powerful.
How you gonna preach if you ain't go through nothing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said,
And that's what we need.
I'm gonna use this now to help others.
I love that. And that's what we need more of. I feel like, especially today in social media, we're not being vulnerable. We're not really showcasing the highlights. Like people are just showcasing the good highlights, but not the struggles, not being open about it. And that's what we're suffering, right? We're comparing ourselves with everybody else's timeline and highlights that we're not being happy with our.
And vulnerability is it's something that not everybody's down to do. People want to show, perfection from the way they look to how their house looks. Like some people don't even want to show their house if it doesn't look like a TikTok house. Nah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's also created by influencers and the people that are out here just posting perfections. And me, I don't want to be envied. I want to be relatable. I
Hmm.
want Cynthia to be like, you know what? Honey's going through the same shit that I'm going through. I'm not gonna feel down about myself because she has the same struggles. I don't want you to be like, Honey's life is perfect. I love her. I want to emulate her. No, 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 no. I want you to feel like your struggles are not something that is exclusive to you. As women, as Latinas, as minorities, we're all going through the same thing. From marriage struggles to struggles with our kids, financial struggles. We're all the same people. We just have different occupations.
Yeah, and we have to be loud about it, right? Like you said, we have to be vulnerable and showcase that side of us, right? So people can relate. Yeah, I love it. And you've built a career in some of the biggest media spaces, and you've done it your way, which we love. What does it truly mean to create your own table, like your own seat at your own table, especially in rooms where our voices were never meant to be heard?
Start by talking about, the podcast, Gracias Come Again. In New York, we don't have a Latino station. We have a hip hop station, a rock station, a pop station, a news. We have everything but. So I said, you know what? If I create a podcast, I can have Latino artists on here. So I tell people all the time, if there is not a seat at the table for you, you either take one from someone else, you be like, excuse me, I'm going to sit here, just be bold, be forward. A lot of the times we like to shrink ourselves, especially as Latina women. We look around a room and it's all white men and we're like, okay, I'm just going to stand by the door. No, 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 no. They won't. And they value our opinion. And we bring such a different, t- train of thought to the table and it's needed. A lot of the times when I speak, everybody starts taking notes because I'm speaking from a different space. I'm speaking from a women's space. I'm speaking from a Latina space. And guess what? They need Latino dollars. They flew me out to pitch at Procter and Gamble for multicultural dollars. I'm talking millions of dollars for
Wow.
me because I am the audience that they wanna pitch to. But a lot of the time we're like, they don't want to hear from you. Yes, they do want to hear from you. Your input matters. It's like when it was time to go, they were like, no, let's not send a white woman and a white man.
Mm.
Let's send a Latina.
Yeah.
That's the listener we're targeting. And you know what? I sat there and I spoke for us, and it just felt so amazing. I was just like, you know what? Straight across the country.
I
Oof, that's
love that.
powerful. And that's what we need more of. Because I feel like el mercado hispano, we're not loud enough or we're too intimidated, right? We don't want to showcase our talent. We don't want to ask for a raise. We don't want to walk in those rooms. And I feel like with this generation, things need to change. And that's why
100%.
I'm so happy that you have your platforms and everything that you preach. Because honestly, even listening to your story before even having you on, that Cynthia told me about your stroke, I'm like, if you don't tell me, I can't see it. Why? Because you are so powerful just by looking at you and by everything that you've accomplished. And I'm like, wow. So when I hear your story now as a life coach, I'm like, I want to be mentored by you,
Yeah.
right? Like, I
Come
want to
on,
walk
Jeanette.
alongside
Let's
you.
get it.
Yeah, like I want to be able to have that powerhouse in my life because we all feel that we're alone and we're struggling by ourselves, right?
And
And
you're
the whole
not.
part of you building, yeah, building your own spaces and being open about it, it's powerful. So yes, I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to do that because we need more voices.
We just need to be loud. We need to be bold. And we're educated. People want to hear from us, just take up space. And a
Yeah.
lot of people, especially sometimes Latinas, we want to like kind of like shrink a little. Like, am I supposed to be here? That
Mhm.
whole like weird imposter syndrome. You know what? If you're in that room, you were meant to be in that room. You were invited. You didn't sneak in there, did you? No, no, no,
Right.
no, no, no. So, even if you're in a Teams meeting, raise your hand when it's your turn, say what you want to say. Don't leave a meeting, whether it be virtual or in person, with a great idea locked in your mind.
I love that. And
I love it.
another thing now that you mentioned, and Jeanette and I have spoken about, I think is also the conditioning of how we were raised, right? By our parents, by that generation, right? We've often spoke about like, my mom, I remember she would tell me like, calladita te ves mejor. Like just sit there. We're running an errand, just sit there. She wanted to be unbothered. Of course, nothing against her. That was just the way she was raised. So that conditioning, right? We were raised with that. So again, like you said, we're so used to like shrinking ourselves, feeling uncomfortable in these rooms. Like, do I
No,
stay here? Right. And I'm like, this is why we created this platform. I'm sure that's why you created your platform. Cause I'm like, we have to be loud about these things. We have to be loud about all these taboos and we're gonna break them one at a time, checking them off.
and here we are talking taboos on Taboo Talks.
Yeah.
With you, the one and only. And a lot of us wait for permissions, like we said, right? But you claim space. Was there a moment where you realized no one is handing me anything? I have to build it because you've been through a lot. When was that moment for you?
My whole life has been this way. My mother went back to Dominican Republic when I was 15 years old, and I decided I'm gonna stay in America with my older sister. So ever since that moment, I've been making space for myself, whether it be at a college, whether it be at a job. There was no backup. There was no mom and dad. It was just me.
Wow.
Big old bold me at 18 years old, filling out resumes and being like, I want a job. I want to work here. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. So were you navigating everything
Everything.
yourself? And what was your first career? Because I don't think it was always radio.
No, no, no. High school on my own. Like my senior year, I was in a household with no parents. And I went every day to school and I graduated high school and I had amazing grades and I went on to college. It's really all up here. I don't, shout out to all the parents, but I don't think you can fully mold your child into who he will be. It has to do a lot with you as a person and what you decide. Like I was like, I am not going to be a teen mom. I am not going to be a high school dropout. I am going to get a college degree, and that was my focus. And even without a mom or dad to tell me, levántate, va para la escuela, yo me levantaba todos los días.
Sola.
It was like, for me, it was like a social club where I learned and I knew I had to get a high school degree. You know, I knew I couldn't be a statistic. Here in New York, I couldn't go on welfare. I didn't want to have 4, 5 baby daddies. That I knew that wasn't, my future.
Wow. And what advice do you have for women, especially Latinas, who are still playing small or who feel like outsiders in their own industry?
Listen, we are the majority. Do you understand the spending power Latinos have? I am in a lot of meetings and boardrooms, and I see how hard they want to target us, how valuable we are as Latinos, our consumption power. And these companies have entire teams that go after us. So, you know what that means? We're important. We're important to the economy. We're important to, advertising, spending. If you get it in your mind like we are important and we are valuable, you're going to exist in a different fashion. And if, if you're Latina and you're just, ponte linda, prepárate. And, confidence is key. I'll tell you that much. That's one thing about me. I always want to feel good because if you feel good, you're going to just act totally, totally different. If you find like you're arriving in spaces and not feeling your most confident self, do every single thing that makes you feel confident, whether it be your hair, whether it be your makeup, whether it be that dress that makes you feel like $1 million. If you're feeling like a wilting flower in a way, put all those things together, all of them. If your eyebrows, if it's your lipstick, if it's, if it's your glasses that make you feel like a little bit, self-conscious, get you some contacts. It's all about that confidence and understanding that, we are out here winning. We're important and we're shifting the culture.
Oh, and I think that's a reminder we all need because this is a subject we touched on the other day about wearing red lipstick. I found myself going to an event and it was a red carpet. I was wearing red lipstick and I've already questioning myself of like, oh my God, I think it's gonna stand out too much and it's a red carpet and my lips and I don't want to be the center of attention. And then I'm like, no, 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 like shift your mindset, right? But
Yeah.
it's something that we carry with us of like, oh, if we do the red nails or the red lipstick, estamos llamando la atención. And I feel like that runs in our blood, right? Like we have to change that narrative. We have
It
to.
does. But listen, if Taylor Swift is out here with her red lips, I'm gonna be out here with
I
Yeah.
my red
know.
lips too, right?
Yeah. And she's owning it. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
That is so, so true. Now let's talk about hustle, the kind that's loud, messy, real, and apologetic. What does being an entrepreneur as a Latina really looks like behind the scenes?
Nonstop work. Listen, I'll work 70 hours a week. I don't care. I work Saturday, I'll work Sunday. Like for my podcast, I like to do my interviews on Sundays. The day that everybody's resting, the day that everybody's like, yo no salgo, yo me quedo en mi pijama. I already have the whole month of August booked. I drive into Manhattan and I sit there with my team and I interview and interview and interview and I bring clothes and I just change my top. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like,
Nice.
okay, the hair is done, the makeup is done. Let's get all these interviews in. It's nonstop work. I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, the hustle is not easy, but the hustle is worth it because it's gonna lead you to, have the money to buy a home, buy a nice car, travel, get your MBA, put your kids through private school, whatever it is. For me, the hustle is really all about living the life I know I deserve.
There we go. Well said. I was waiting for that.
So I was like, I'm waiting for that.
We all deserve, to live good. To
Yeah.
drink the wine we want to drink, to buy la crema que no queremos poner. Si queremos comprar un pintalabio de $100, comprarlo. Si
Yeah.
queremos,
Oof.
si queremos ir a Italia, ir a Italia. You know what I'm saying? But that only comes with hustling, having multiple sources of income. You can't just have one job. Nobody became a millionaire by having a 9 to 5.
So true.
When you look at millionaires, business people,
Yeah.
real estate, you know what I'm saying? Tech. Yeah, you can have a job because, with iHeartRadio, I have my job. I'm the digital director for the radio station. That comes first. That's the bread and butter. But after that, then I have all my other side hustles and all that goes into one pot. And then that's what allows me to grow, you know what I'm saying? And start, breaking, those generational curses of poverty and not having a home. Let's say a lot of people don't experience home ownership and because their parents didn't do it and they're like, my parents never owned. And then we end up renters. And then we end up renters. And that means we can't pass down generational wealth to our children. We got to break all those cycles. We got to break all of them. Hustling is the only way you're going to do it. I'm sorry. Working a 9 to 5 and being at work looking at TikToks and ignoring really what's going on around you. Oh, today yo no hice nada. Yo ni trabajé hoy. Guess what, mi amiga? Tú no vas a poder comprar esa casa. Tú no vas a poder viajar. Tú no vas a poder tener una cuenta TikToks el día entero. No, that's not what we're doing out here. We're
Yeah.
trying to get to this bag, right?
Yep.
Preach.
And in
Woo.
today's world, with this inflation, girl, we need multiple sources of income.
Listen, I go out sometimes and I'm like, that's a family of 6. What are they going to spend here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great, but it's true what you said about TikTok because I have people around me and my mom too. They don't have time for anything, but they're scrolling all day, sending me lo que está pasando en la noticia, que politics, que this. And I'm like, but why is your energy being poured into this?
Oh, don't get me started. Not only your energy is being poured into that, you're also ingesting that energy.
Yes.
You're looking, mirando todas esas locuras, todas esas mierdas. Tú lo que le estás dando es views a otra gente que está ganando dinero.
Yeah.
People are making money on TikTok. People are making money on Instagram with Instagram Reels, and you're scrolling and consuming and What are you doing for you? Who's
Yeah.
There we
scrolling
go.
and consuming your content?
Love it. Yeah.
That's a whole different topic, right?
Listen,
Exactly.
that's part two.
I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, no, definitely the hustle has to be. And I'm not glorifying, do rest. I rest. Ya como a las 8, las 9, ya yo me acuesto. I
Of course.
100%.
gotta help co-run it, right?
Mhm.
I love it.
So even with him, I'm like, listen, you need new graphics. What's going on? Did you book this client? Did you order this material? It's all about, being very hands-on with everything that is within your reach to make money.
And you're hosting, the podcast, you're working in media, advocating for stroke awareness, coaching women. You wear so many hats. You are
I'm
a
tired, Cynthia. I'll be tired.
What keeps you grounded and how do you avoid losing yourself in the hustle?
I make time, I make time for the gym for sure. I make time for yoga. I love getting out, visiting parks. I love walking. I was just walking yesterday. It's hot and humid, but just
Mhm.
getting out into nature and connecting with myself and with my body, that I prioritize because I'm like, listen, I can't just burn myself out hustling, trying to make money and trying to build an empire. Because when you become the brand and you become the tool to make money, that has to be nurtured. I make sure, I'm drinking my water, I'm eating my salads, I'm taking my vitamins, que si el biotin, que si el colágeno, que si la vitamina D, que si the turmeric. I make sure that, I take care of me, my body, and my being as a main priority, actually. Like before I do anything, before my day starts, I do vibration therapy. I take all my vitamins. I listen to, you know, a pastor. I pick which one I want to listen to that day. And I just listen to a sermon, 30 minutes, easy. And I feed the soul because that's important.
I love that you share that because I feel when we tell people, especially entrepreneurs, wearing multiple hats about burned out, immediately it's like, oh, I put my phone away, I go on vacation, and I go for a run. But we don't talk about the health of the well being and your mindset as well, of you taking your vitamins, listening, if that's to a pastor, to worship, to a mindset video, right? Whatever starts your soul on fire. But I feel like it's so important that we put that into place and perspective. That is not just putting your phone away, that's important, or going on that vacation, but it's being intentional with taking care of your well being as well.
Every single day, and
Yeah.
even the music that I have in the background is, I pick it purposely. I'll put like just, sounds to calm your nervous system. Like if I'm going through a lot that day, I'm like, okay, so today we're not listening to La Bichota. Absolutely not.
And not today.
We're gonna calm the nervous system. I'll do aromatherapy. It's just a lot of different key components to keep myself, calm, relaxed, and grounded.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And
Mhm.
your show, Gracias Come Again, is so bold and real. How did that came to life? And what do you hope people take away from the conversations you're leading?
What I did was I said, you know what? We have a lot of actors. We have a lot of photographers. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. We have a lot of directors. New York is filled with Latinos that are, out here making moves, you know what I'm saying? And where's the platform? Who's interviewing them? Who's sitting down with them? Big
Yeah.
shout out La Mega 97.9. We have an amazing, huge Latino station, but they don't have the time to delve into people's lives, their accolades, their wins. They can't sit down with Dasha Polanco for 2 hours like I did. And I just want to humanize the people that we see on TV. They're humans just like us. They have traumas just like us. They've had to overcome, whether it be, substance abuse, suicidal thoughts, abusive relationships, domestic violence, like just so many different things. So when I put these podcast episodes out, it's just like not only am I humanizing them, but I'm also giving, Jeanette and Cynthia an episode that they can delve into. But like, you know what? This person is very similar to me. And look where they're at. They're winning Grammys, they're winning Emmys. If I for one moment thought that I couldn't overcome this trauma and rise to be, the star I want to be, I can do it. It'll encourage you. It'll motivate you. It'll be like, oh my God, you know what? This person went through this. What? I can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that because there's power on storytelling. I found it rooted in her, and it's run through women empowering communities of storytelling. And there's power when we hear the stories of people either quitting their 9 to 5 at 45 years old and launching a business,
Mhm.
to having babies after IVFs and miscarriages, right? And like you feel in a way like you healed, even if you're going through it. Or like, okay, if she did it, I'm going to do it too. So that's why we were able to relate with your podcast so much, because it speaks life into us. It's not just another podcast. It's really talking about the stories that we tell ourselves that is only happening to us, but we see
Yeah.
that it happens to other, but people are actually navigating through it.
Yeah, and it's our people, right? It's our people that you're inviting, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "Yes, invite those Latinos."
It is, it's crazy because like I had Lisa on, and she opened up about her breast cancer journey, and I'm like, people probably don't even know that this happened to her, or that she went through this, at the height of her career. And then, if you're a breast cancer survivor, you will find this episode, and you'll be like, what? She was on stage performing while she was going through, breast cancer. I can do this too. It is all about encouraging, and it's also about understanding that these careers are for us. Also, acting is for us. It's easier than you think. Sometimes you're like, I could never make it to Hollywood. But then I'll sit down with, let's say, Manny Perez, Dominican actor, top Dominican actor. And he's like, this is how I did it, and this is where I went. And it kind of like gives you guidance. Also, you can find an episode, Johnny Nunez, he's photographed everyone, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Ukea, the Obamas. I want to be a photographer too. Let me listen to his episode. And that could just very well be the blueprint to you launching your career. And you're like,
Oof,
you know
the
what? He's a
blueprint.
Latino just like me. I could do it. So
Yeah.
that really is the point of Gracias Come Again. And that's why I'm so, wide with the range of guests that I have. I had La Senadora Jessica Ramos, like a senator, una Latina,
Wow.
Colombiana, so young. And it's just like, how do you even become a senator? And she broke it down. She said, this is what I did, this is how I started. And she's here. She's a senator in New York State. Like, I don't think I could be a senator. You know what I'm saying? But with her, she was like, nah, it can be done. It can be done. And she's just like Jeanette, and she's just like Cynthia, and she's just like Honey. But she sits at our Senate.
You see, wow, and you had her on. That's powerful. And what came out of the name? Like, how do you come up with Gracias Come Again? Was that like the first name you had in vision, or you had multiples in mind?
Absolutely not. I've been in podcasting for many years. My first podcast was titled Life in Spanglish. And, I've always catered to Latinos, always, because it's who I am. I don't want to cater to a group of people that I don't know anything about. Not only am I being fake, but it's also a space where at any moment I can be kicked out of. And I
Right.
always wanted to exist in spaces where, honey, yo soy dominicana, tú no me puedes decir a mí que yo no puedo entrevistar a esta gente. Tú no me puedes decir que yo no puedo hablar en español. I exist here just as much as you exist here. And that's why I've always gravitated towards the Latino content and the Spanglish content, because I can't not.
Yeah,
No.
no, percent.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Life in Spanglish was the first podcast, and in Gracias Come Again, I really wanted to, make it so that it's something that can be said by anyone. And people love saying the word gracias. White,
Yeah.
black, Latinos, Asian. It's just a word that makes people smile. Gracias. You know what I'm saying? It's a good. And then it was also about like we have our delis here in New York, and the bag says, "Thank you, come again."
Yeah.
Thank you, come again. Thank you. I said, you know what? That's what it is. I want them to feel like they had a good experience, and I want them to come back. And that's how I close out every single episode. Gracias, come again. And even when I tell them, I'm like, listen, you're gonna win your Emmy, you're gonna win your Grammy, because a lot of people come and they're nominated for things, and I always play with them. I'm like, don't play with me when you're out there in Hollywood winning all these awards, and they're like, no, 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 I'm gonna come again. And that was
There
really,
you go.
it was kind of like a play on the paper bag that we get when we go to bodegas and delis in New York, and the whole, when people leave your house, gracias, come again, vuelva.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's that comfy feeling. I got goosebumps just hearing you
You
talk
see?
about it. Because
Yeah.
it's that reminder of like, gracias, come again. And you feel already welcome before you even enter the room.
Right? It feels good. It feels good to me still saying it.
Can
Yeah, I
imagine.
love it. What's one taboo that you are still trying to break?
You know what? This came later, and it came with my stroke survival. And it's that disabled women can't be strong, we can't be bold, and that we can't work. Oh, we can work. Oh, we
Oh,
can
yeah.
work. Oh, we can work. Oh, we can be out here. Oh, we can be present. And, it's a taboo that's surrounded women in general, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether, you're missing an arm, whether, you just have maybe, let's say, like a limp or you walk with a cane, viewing women with a disability as less powerful, we gonna break that taboo, honey. We gonna break that taboo. I don't need help. I don't need nobody to pity me. Don't baby me. I'm gonna open my own doors. I'm gonna pull my own chair. We are powerful. We are strong. And listen, the physical is one thing. Lo que cuenta lo que está aquí.
Yeah.
Okay? That's how I make my money.
That's the real power.
Exactly. What's in your mind, what's in your heart, what's in your spirit, that's what's powerful. It's not whether I walk with a limp or whether I'm in a wheelchair or whether I use a cane. That doesn't make any difference. When I sit down next to Cynthia, next to Jeanette, and we're all in a board meeting, I'm gonna be just as powerful as both of you, if not even more. Because you know what? I got son approved, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I have goosebumps this entire interview, honey. This
I
is
love
crazy.
it.
I'm glad
Yeah.
we're here. I'm glad we're here.
I'm so glad.
So
And
are we.
tell me about your parents. What do they think about the woman that you've become today? Like that hustle mode, because they left back to Dominican Republic when you were young.
Mhm.
So what are their thoughts now when they see you?
My mother is very proud, but in typical Latina mom fashion, I don't know if it's just Dominican mom fashion. Whatever, it is what it is. Where do you work again? But I know deep down inside she is super proud of me. I'm 100% sure she brags about me to everybody.
Yeah. Mira, mira mi hija.
Exactly. When it comes to me,
See?
But you know what? That's her way of showing love.
100% Dominican moms, they're very tough. And, they're not big into like hugging and kissing. It's just very tough love. You know what I'm saying? Aquí mando yo, pónganse a limpiar, pónganse a estudiar. Que ah. It's not like, oh, my baby. No, 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 no.
Yeah, no.
It was none of that growing up. Maybe a younger generation of Dominican mom is breaking, that cycle of, tough love. But when it comes to my mom, I feel like my success is something that maybe she secretly finds, something to be proud of. But to me, she doesn't really, really express it.
Yeah. And I think it's definitely in the Hispanic culture, right? I feel like we can compare, we can blame because it was so different back then, right? To seeing us break those cycles and break those chains.
Yeah.
Like I tell Cynthia all the time when my mom helps me sometimes with the kids for recordings, she goes, man,
Claro que
but they
sí.
don't understand, right? Exactly. So I'm like, mom, but it's just that like going to the events, ¿y pa qué tanto tiempo? Like she thinks I'm away from the kids. So they don't see the perspective of like what we're doing to better ourselves and following our path, what we're called to do. But then I also say, you know what? I can't blame them because they didn't know any better, right? So that's like their form of love. It's just tirándonos pullita, tirándonos la piedrecita.
No jodan tanto, coño. Digan que, tell me you're proud of me. Tell
I
me
know, yeah.
you're proud of me. Tell me you understand what I'm doing. Tell somebody else to
Yeah.
explain it to you. Don't ask me every time I talk to you. ¿Y qué es lo que tú haces?
Yeah.
Yeah. ¿Todavía estás haciendo lo de radio?
Sí, yo sé que tú hablas en la radio. Yo sé que tú hablas en la radio. They're dope. And as long as I know I'm doing my best and I'm because, we are a representation of our mother.
Yeah, 100%.
She has like 9 brothers and sisters. And trust me, the image we portray and our successes is how she feels validated. So I know I'm one of 5. I know I'm doing my part. I don't know about everybody else, but I know I'm doing to make us
Yes, you
look good
will.
out here on Facebook.
One hell of a job.
Sometimes she'll be like, oh, si vas a subir esa foto, ponme un tag para que me salga a mí también. I'm like, oh, ahora quiero un tag.
Oh.
She wants to be part of it.
She does, secretly and quietly. Latina moms, they're proud of us. They understand what we're doing, but that hardened exterior that they've had to put up, especially if they're immigrant parents that came here not knowing the language, not having the money, they had to put up a tough exterior. They couldn't be soft wives baking apple pies because that's not what they were doing. They were estaban trabajando en factoría, estaban pasando frío, estaban pasando, going to, offices asking for help, trying to become citizens. They're hardened and they're tough, and so we have to show them grace.
Yes, we do.
100%,
I
yeah.
love that.
All right, honey. It's time for some fun and lightning round before we go into La Tia Chismosa mode. Okay.
Ready? The fun didn't start yet. Shit, you could have fooled me.
Right, yeah, now it's some little rapid fire questions. All
Vamos
right.
arriba, dale, Cynthia.
Fill in the blank. Being a Latina in media means
Taking up space.
Oof.
yes.
One piece of advice you'll give to your younger self.
Girl, don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to anybody who tells you you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to make this happen and you're going to make this happen good.
What's one song that instantly puts you in hustle mode?
Hustle mode, like to get money.
Yeah, I guess to get money or to start working or
Sure.
before you record, do you listen to something that kind of hypes you up?
Anything Carol G always hypes me up. Or let's say
Love Carol G.
also the rapper Jadakiss and the Locks. They're so New York and they're so urban and they're so gritty. Why don't we go with Money, Power, Respect? The Locks with Lil Kim. That's a good one. That definitely gets me
That's a
hyped.
good one.
And that's me to the T. Get my money, I'm gonna get my power, and I'm gonna get my respect, right?
Now, every time I listen to it, I'm going to think about you.
I know.
Boom, there you go.
Okay, now let's get into it. La tía chismosa. The
Vamos.
one who always had something to say at every family party. ¿Y tú crees que eso de la radio es una carrera de verdad? If she could see you now thriving, using your voice, amplifying others, and owning every room, ¿qué tú crees que diría?
Pero mírala, se puso para lo de ella. Se metió en la radio, hizo lo que iba a hacer. Mírala, tú la viste. Compró una casa. Diablo, tiene un carro nuevo, ¿lo viste? Lo puso en Facebook. Ay, pero ella andaba por Dubai, ¿tú la viste? Pues será que la radio le está dejando su chelito, porque mira, tú la viste. Oh, está bien, no hay problema. Ganó la muchachita, ganó.
Like hear my
I think
aunt's
she won the
voice.
best tía chismosa segment callback because this is awesome.
I love the part like mirando. That's all they do.
¿Tú la viste bebiendo champaña? Ay, Dios.
Entonces, sí, te está haciendo dinero o qué más estás haciendo because they always think that it's something bad or estamos en un
Yes.
No, olvídalo.
we're part of una fama, mafia.
Claro que sí. Eso tiene que ser Mario vendiendo droga mínimo. You know it.
Oh, 100%. Oh my God, I love it. And honey, before we wrap up, where can our listeners connect with you and support your work and any new projects coming up? I know Gracias Come Again. Season 2 is coming out. It just got
Yes.
time for season 2.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Congratulations.
thank you.
So tell our listeners where they can find you.
If you want me to life coach you, which I can, I still have space. We're now, booking into August and September. My website, honeygerman.com. We'll schedule what's called a discovery call where me and you can talk and we'll figure out like if I want to work with you and if you want to work with me, because life coaching is very much so about feeling a connection. So the website for the life coaching, if you want to follow me on social media, it's I am Honey German on Instagram. And I'm the only Honey German in the world. So if you want to find me anywhere on Facebook, I'm the only one that's going to come up. On Twitter, I'm the only one that's going to come up. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's only a matter of time before an imposter pops up. But as of right now, it's
The
just
one and only.
the one. I'm the only one. But yeah, Gracias Come Again was just renewed for season 2. We already have 12 amazing guests locked in. We're gonna premiere in August. I thought I was gonna take a break, but I heard said, no, girl, you better get back in that studio.
And you got to run.
It's crazy because I was like, okay, the season's over, guys. We'll talk in the fall so we can renegotiate. They were like, no.
Now.
Yes, I had to book guests de nuevo. ¿Qué es lo que te pasa a ti? Que we'll talk in the fall.
And there you go. Now you can showcase everything you have going on, which is amazing. It's a win-win.
You guys caught me at the right time because I was like, yeah, I want to do some stuff. I want to work with some people. I heard said, wrap it up.
Ven pa' atrás.
Start interviewing. Come on.
Buena freca. Di que now you on podcast. Open up a studio. Thank you so much, both of you, for having me on. I had an amazing time. What you're doing here is amazing. There are a lot of taboos that need to be broken. There are a lot of voices out here that are also breaking these taboos. I love your platform. Jeanette, Cynthia, what you're doing is amazing. I love that you partner up and, make this work. Make this work. Make this work. Because, hosting a podcast with 2 people sometimes ends up falling apart. And I don't want this to fall apart for you because Taboo Talks is needed. Make it work. When you have differences, talk it out. Don't assume. Don't go silent. Don't have microaggressions with each other. If Jeanette does something you don't like, Cynthia, be like, Jeanette, I really didn't like this. Vice versa also. Like, listen, Cynthia, I don't feel like you're pulling your weight. I'm editing more than you're editing. Oh, you need to learn how to create assets also for the podcast, or you need to learn how to upload, or you need to learn how to do social media, whatever it is. Talk it out. Don't resent each other quietly because that'll definitely end Taboo Talks.
Wow, thank you for that. Thank you for that because I know as we continue to grow, it's going to be life-changing for us, right? Because
For
it's
sure.
already been. And I know that hearing those words, especially with everything you've built and you've overcome and that you're still working on, is knowing that we can push through no matter what comes our way, right? And it's not going to be easy peasy all the times. So that meant a lot to us. Thank you for seeing the vision as well.
Communication is key. Remember that. Between you two, what you're doing here is already amazing. I just want you two to be in sync and not lose yourselves.
Thank you for that. We will. Thank you. And we're going to make sure to add everything you share in the show notes. Honey, thank you for
Thank you.
being bold, real, relatable. Thank you for sharing your journey, for amplifying nuestra comunidad, and for doing
Amen.
it all while staying true to yourself. You're a force, and we're so honored to have had you here.
Thank you so much, Jeanette,
Yes.
Cynthia. You ladies are amazing, and thank you for what you're doing also.
Of course. And to our beautiful taboo breakers, this is your sign to stop shrinking, speak up, and own your voice. You're not asking for space, you're creating it. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Y como siempre, chicas, we'll see you next time on Taboo Talk Latina Edition, where we keep breaking cycles, breaking silence, and breaking taboos.